stood at $8,527,436.64. The SHA account is at $23,411.68, and our meter investment account stands at $8,137,391.29. There's copies of the fund balances in the packets that you have. At the September 2021 meeting, we saw a stark contrast in the way issues were handled in the public segment hearings. Barb Wilson, a township resident, presented her ideas on enhancing the appeal of part of Symmes Township and volunteering her time to assist in realizing her ideas. It was an admirable example of civic contribution for the betterment of our township, and I want to thank her for that presentation. She was followed by the Gotcha Tag team of Carol Symmes and C.J. Carr, whose presentations are designed to make them look good by making others look bad, usually by presenting partial truths rather than contributing anything positive to address perceived grievances. Such was the case with C.J. Carr's latest presentation. Mr. Carr applied to Hamilton County for a zoning permit for a front porch addition for 9406 Arnold Lane on September 14th of 2020. The permit was issued on the 16th of September 2020, but the county never sent the paperwork or the $176.40 check for the permit fee. 11 months later, the county finds the check after Mr. Carr had made a public document request for a copy of the paperwork that the county had, but never returned to us. So the township never got the $176.40 fee for the permit that was issued to C.J. Carr 11 months previously. He correctly points out that there was not a foolproof system of checks and balances to prevent this oversight at the time. This then leads to his wild leap to the conclusion that there is some possibility that perhaps there are hundreds and possibly thousands of dollars of similar missing checks for zoning permits. If he had bothered to check, he would have known that such a system was instituted January 1st of 2021, replacing a system used by Carol Symmes that had a 17% error rate in the recorded documents for the first 3 months of 2020. The fact that that wasn't picked up during my term falls on me, and I fully understand that. This brought two questions to mind for me. Does C.J. Carr reconcile his checkbook more than once in 11 months? If he did, he was well aware that the township did not receive that check for 11 months. And two, did C.J. Carr charge the homeowner for the cost of that permit? As a person seeking election to a trustee position as he is, I appreciate C.J. Carr's deep concern for protecting Symmes Township residents' tax dollars in this current issue involving $176.40. But it makes me wonder where his deep concern was in the trustee meetings of 2018, 2019, and 2020. I attended most of those meetings, as did C.J. Carr. He voiced no concern for the $33,000 in late fees incurred on Duke Energy lighting bills by previous fiscal officer Carol Symmes. He voiced no concern for the failure of Carol Symmes to file lighting district assessments totaling $167,184 in the years 2013 to 2016. He voiced no concern by a default on a $109,000 $288 bond payment by Carol Symmes. C.J. Carr voiced no concern publicly at trustee meetings. To me, this is troubling behavior in someone running for a trustee position. That's it.
Oh.
No presentations tonight, no public hearings tonight. I move approval of disbursements, warrants number 80,043 through 80,175, and vouchers number 243 through 272 in the aggregate amount of $373,321.56.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Bryan.
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Board will now hear any reports may come before it, starting with Law Director.
Thank you. No report.
Okay. Lieutenant Tar.
Sorry, we spoke about this a little bit at the last meeting. We're still seeing, as the whole area or region is, an uptick in thefts from vehicles. Our intelligence unit has been monitoring it, has not been able to identify any pattern, and that's pretty similar throughout the area. But the one thing that is happening in every case is vehicles are unlocked. So just encourage people, please do not leave your vehicles unlocked.
Is it just Symmes Township, or is it Sycamore?
No, this is throughout Hamilton County. It's into Butler County. It's in northern Kentucky.
Everywhere. So it's just not us.
It's regional.
And it tends to, for a while, it goes up and down.
We've been pretty steady over the summer, and this is usually generally you're going to see more of this in the summer.
Summer than
Kids
right.
are out, but
Okay.
there's a group. I'm not sure.
That comes through, or
Yeah,
just
and
stays?
I mean they were in Butler County a few weekends ago, but it's just this past week this past few weeks every report I've looked at in Symmes Township then was taken after a car break-in. The vehicle was unlocked.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
There was an incident on Steeplechase
Right.
wherein it made the news through Nextdoor,
Mhm.
and the people, I guess the first report was that the residents foiled the attempt at whatever they were doing, either stealing the car or breaking into it. And the word was that these culprits were apprehended. Is that true or false?
Well, I don't know. No, not in that case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were just, the residents stumbled across it and called the police and so on.
Yeah,
They were not-
I read that post. I forget which media platform it was on, but yeah, there was some sort of confrontation between the homeowner and the kids in the car. And
Okay.
they eventually left.
So just for clarification, those
No, they were
culprits
not.
were not apprehended?
They were not.
Okay.
And are the break-ins happening mainly at night or during the day? At night?
Complete. Yeah, we haven't seen any during the day.
During-
Yeah, this is all
okay.
at night, early hour, early morning.
But they're
hour.
just staying to cars, nothing else?
right. That's. I mean,
Yeah, they're not breaking into houses? They're
we
just-
have had resident break, but this is cars.
Okay.
How long has that increased frequency shown up in our statistics, or is it going to show up in our statistics?
It's showing up.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty. I know sycamores are up about the same. They're up throughout the county about the
Okay.
same.
Okay.
This is going back to 2020.
All right.
So it sounds like the moral of the story is lock your car, don't keep valuables in your car, and if for some reason you put something in your car, don't put it in plain sight. And I've even heard instances where people are not only leaving their car unlocked, but they're leaving their car keys in the console.
But you
So-
haven't had any
so don't do
steal
that.
the car? Steal cars?
We have had some stolen cars, but the problem we're really seeing, what we're seeing an uptick is the vehicle break-ins, and those are all unlocked cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ones I heard about the stolen cars were at Indian Hill.
Indian Hill.
So
But yes, Mr.
Follow
Clark,
those
you hit the
rules.
nail on the head. If we
Yeah.
could
follow those rules and, even maybe turn your floodlight on over your driveway. Can't
That's a
hurt.
good idea, too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Get a dog.
Anything else?
Security
No,
system
that's
there
it.
is.
Thanks.
Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Chief Huber.
Thank you, Board. I just have two things to report on. One was after the the Parks meeting with over the Mead property.
Yes?
We did another fire inspection on the Mead house and met with the Township Public Works Department there. And I was very pleased, actually, at the shape and the condition that the house is in. I hadn't been in that house since I took patients out of there back 25 years ago when it was a nursing home. But I can tell you that I think the township has a very solid structure to work with and to move forward with. And I think, it's a great historic property, and we look forward and appreciate being involved in that committee. We look forward to helping the township move that forward in whatever way that the trustees desire. It's a nice piece of property.
Thank you, Chief. Your input was invaluable. Invaluable.
And other than that, the report will be electronically to you this week. So Captain Hawk, who handles those for us, was teaching in the leadership class in the academy this last week, so he wasn't able to get that to you, but it will be to you this week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from Director of Public Works, Kim?
They're finishing up concrete work in Calumet Farms this week, and they should be paving, weather pending, next week.
Okay. Yeah. I'm experiencing that directly.
But once it's finished, it looks really nice.
Oh, yeah. No question. It's interesting that we've kept on our schedule pretty well, because Calumet was done last in 2005. So like 17 years. I'm sorry, 16 years. My math is fuzzy.
Kim, do we have an update on the Union Cemetery sidewalk, when we think that'll be all wrapped up?
Well, we were hoping that would have been wrapped up by the end of September, but he still has employee shortages and he was having supply chain issues. So right now they're in the curve. So they've started building their retaining wall, and they should be finished with that, I don't know, hopefully in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
And then they're right there near Antietam, so
Right.
hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully this month.
Okay.
Great.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Good input. Anything else, Kim?
Nope.
Okay. Any committee reports? Seeing none. Okay. Any other comments? We had a fantastic fall for Symmes.
Oh,
Yes.
how did we forget to talk about that? I
Yeah.
think it was the best one we've ever had.
I
have to say.
had mixed feelings in the sense that I was disappointed that we weren't going to have food trucks and water at least, and we got the word out, and I heard no complaints about not having it, and we had a
And I
great
saw
attendance.
People bringing their own dinner and
Yeah.
having little picnics together,
Yeah.
which was very cool. Yes.
Oh, yeah,
And
that
our-
was
The trail was amazing.
Our staff did an excellent job. We need to thank them because it was spectacular.
Mhm.
They worked really hard.
Yes, they did. That was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, guys? Mhm. Okay. We'll now hear from residents. May come to the podium, identify yourself, what the issue is, and hopefully it's something new we haven't heard about before.
Good evening, C.J. Carr, 10403 Willow Drive. I actually wasn't going to come up and say anything this evening, but by the commentary that was given by Mr. Grossi there, the check was written to Hamilton County, and by the way you state whether or not I charged a homeowner for a permit, it was paid, and finally
Was
the
it
county...
cashed?
I have a canceled check, so if you need a copy of it to see who cashed it, it was cashed on August 6th. And I can bring you a copy of that tomorrow to your office.
Because they sent us the check.
They sent you the check.
Yeah.
And what did you do with the check?
Hamilton.
Deposited it.
Well, the check was cashed by Symmes Township.
Yeah, but after the 11 months or something.
After 11 months.
But it's been cashed. The township has received their
Yeah,
money
but
for it.
we didn't have that money for 11 months.
That's between you and the county. The county held it.
Well, I wonder how you
How I
balance
balanced
things
my
out for your
checkbook and
tax
how
filings.
I
You
do my
had to know that
paperwork.
it wasn't
I did
cashed.
know it wasn't there. and then you got it and you cashed it, so issue over and
So
done.
what's your point?
The only other comment I have to make is, this is a Symmes Township trustees meeting. I don't know where we come in with commentaries from board members. We have hearing from residents at this time. I know in the past, board members have come down and spoke from the audience at different times in a meeting, and that's probably the time that it should be said, not during reports and things like that during the meeting. Thank you.
So you can issue a charge from that dais, and no one up on this dais can respond to your charges that were erroneous, is what you're saying.
Any correspondence for discussion? I'm
Any
sorry.
other
Wait.
residents? Yeah, any other residents?
Any other residents? Yes. Wish to speak? Okay. Any correspondence for discussion?
No.
Okay. Okay, the following events and meetings are scheduled during the next month. Okay, we have Finance Committee meeting Wednesday, October 13th, 2021 at 6 p.m. here in the Safety Service Center. We have a trustees work session scheduled for Wednesday, October 27th, 2021 at 6 p.m. in the Administration Building. We have trick or treat Sunday, October 31st, 2021 from 6 to 8 p.m. throughout the township. We have Board of Zoning Appeals meeting on Monday, November 1st, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Safety Service Center. And the next regular trustees meeting will be Tuesday, November 9th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Safety Service Center. Earlier in the year, beginning of the year, we recognized that trustees were running for re-election. First Tuesday in November is November the 2nd. We postponed that meeting till the 9th so that we could work the polls who are running for re-election. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Seeing no old business, we'll move right into new business. I move a discussion concerning no parking on Appleseed from 11582 Montgomery Road to 8757 Appleseed.
Okay.
Kim, can you speak into that?
Yep, we received a request from the homeowners association to see if anything could be done to improve the intersection of Montgomery Road and Appleseed. I guess when people are entering and exiting the neighborhood, some of the people, when they exit the neighborhood, they're taking up the whole area. So they're exiting on the entrance side and the exit lane. So Bill had approached the county and ODOT about that. And I guess the county has agreed to stripe that particular intersection with an entrance and exit lane. The problem becomes we have that little private drive, like when you
Yes.
first come in off to the left. So what the residents are also saying in that area is that it's very difficult for them to see around parked cars that are in the first three houses. So there's two houses on the right and there's one house on the left. So they're asking us to potentially do a resolution for no parking for those three pieces of property and the in front near where that private drive is. So
And
that
that-
makes it a safer intersection.
And that's what they're requesting.
Yes,
It's all HOA.
yes.
And they've met and they've discussed it with everyone in the community, on that street.
I'm assuming so because the HOA is the one that approached us. I can double check that though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we should make sure that it's just not one person, it's the whole street.
They're asking that us to pass a resolution that prohibits parking on both sides of the street in that area.
Just for those three houses.
Okay, well, that's not an issue, I would think. Is it? I mean, we can post one side, no parking, so
They're
far from
asking
the
for-
intersection.
You need
Right, they're
both
asking for both sides.
Why both sides?
In their opinion, it is a safety issue. So I don't know, maybe maybe Ott could speak about that, I don't know. I've never been there when anybody's ever parked right there, so I don't, but they say when they come down the street, it's hard to see around, because you have to actually go around the vehicles when they're parked, and then you kind of go out into the lane of traffic.
Okay,
don't know, what do you got, what do you think?
That street is basically 3 lanes wide right at the intersection. So striping would take care of a lot of that, and if it's striped and the lane is identified to the far left, if you will, the egress lane that would turn, let's say, north, the other one could turn south or straight across. That would keep cars from parking on one side. I mean, do we normally post?
On both sides,
both
we
sides?
did in Chatham Woods.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
That was
There's
for,
precedent.
for
All right.
school hours though,
For
right?
school hours,
Yeah.
Yes.
8 to
Okay.
1.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was for a specific situation.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's all the kids
Generally,
parking.
we're in the township's position to place no parking signs on the fire hydrant side of the streets in the township and within the cul-de-sacs.
Okay.
That has been the standard by which, unless there was a certain situation within the township, that a certain safety issue, as Chatham Woods was, where the high school kids that were sent away from high school, not getting parking permits, but then filtering into our township subdivisions and overtaking the township streets during school hours, which is why both sides of the street happened in Chatham Woods.
Okay.
When that wasn't allowed. But generally speaking, it's the cul-de-sac and the fire hydrant side of the street is what has been the township standard, if you will. Because if you go through a subdivision, it's always been the township's position that the quiet enjoyment of personal property is what we support. And so that we allowed to make sure that there was street parking for all of our residents. So again, that has been the standard, but you certainly have the right to institute parking, no parking on both sides of the street and in the cul-de-sac.
So it's just 3 houses that we're talking about?
It looks to me with the addresses, it would be 2 on one side and 1 on the other.
Yeah. So I think that we should make sure that the HOA has contacted them and gotten their input.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to see.
We fielded a complaint about 30 to 45 days ago, but it had to do with a home within that stretch that had been under constant construction, and the contractors were constantly parking. This had gone on for months, was creating a problem there. And so I don't know how much it was a homeowner dispute versus that contractor piece.
Okay.
But we could, if you would like, look at that,
Okay.
make sure what they understand what that is, and report back at the next trustees meeting.
Okay.
That'd be great. Mhm.
Okay. So this was only a discussion, so we've discussed it, so there's no resolution we have to pull or anything,
Right.
so.
We can make a
I think.
Make a recommendation.
Okay.
Contact the HOA, make sure that the homeowners are aware and they're on board.
Okay.
And if we did proceed with this partial no parking zone, do we want to make stipulations for the time frame? Is it Monday through Friday, 7 to 4 p.m., 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
Certain hours.
So you could park there on the weekends, for example.
That doesn't fall under the fire code, but I believe that, that you can put parking restrictions on the township roadway.
Mhm.
And if those are just certain hours, like you have done in Chatham Woods,
Okay.
just certain hours in Chatham
Right.
Woods.
Okay.
All right. I think that's an excellent suggestion. We'll bring it back next meeting. Thank you. I move to appoint Michael Tranter.
Oh, you missed
Second bullet.
Oh,
discussion.
I was reading the staff report. That's why I got ahead of myself. Okay, move a discussion concerning the Cannon area in Camp Dennison.
Okay, I asked for this to be put on. I met with Barbara Wilson, who is in Camp Dennison, and she has formed a small committee for beautification of Camp Dennison. So the first thing that they would like us to work on as a township is the Cannon area. Do you want to step up and just briefly talk? And so I thought it would be a good start for us to go ahead and get some landscape plans.
I had talked to Jody and suggested there's a couple of things. First of all, I brought up last month having a more welcoming south end of Camp Dennison and have a larger sign put there, something replicated to the same as the signs that have already been drawn up. So something similar to what would be like at Symmes Township, Loveland area, the
Mhm.
exit in there. Then moving our existing signs over towards the bike trail, because nobody knows where they are in that area. They have no idea. And I think it can be also a safety issue for people who need help. I know we have the 911 locator, but, and along with that, there have been some dead trees that have already been removed from that area, and I personally did some cleaning up in that area. But it could be much more of an inviting area if, because of the history of Camp Dennison, if we could landscape it out and in some ways make it, whether it is abandoning that road again. I would love if ODOT could look at that, if they could be invited down. That is the right turn. You would be going south.
Kugler Mill?
Yeah, Kugler Mill.
Mhm.
I don't believe that that's a safety issue because you literally have to turn around like this to see back down that road, whereas you are still crossing over. It'd be more of a safety issue for the people who are turning to the right, or to the left, excuse me. So if they could abandon that road and bring it into the bike trail where the bike trail could take, make use of that area, I think it could be quite a lovely little park area and share the history of Camp Dennison and Symmes Township in that area and have some benches. There are 2 benches there right now, and some cleaning up of some of the signs and some other things that are going on down.
Organizing them a little better.
Right.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is I'd like to get some landscape plans for the first section of the triangle. And as we work with ODOT to see if there's anything we can do, we can have like phase 2 if we get to that point. So that's what I'm asking tonight.
Mhm.
So what about moving the signs and getting the additional
Well,
ones?
I think that on the triangle, when the landscape plan, we'd have to work on moving those signs. And I
Okay.
think there's some other signs that she would like moved, and I thought that would be like a winter list for our staff. When they have time in the winter, if they could move a sign here, move a sign there.
Right now in the Cannon area is the Symmes Township sign, and then off to the right, coming down the road, is the Camp Dennison sign, which you just buzz by it, you don't even see it.
So what you want to do is you want to get a big sign that says Symmes Township and Camp Dennison,
Mhm.
right? Like what we have off of 275.
In Loveland area,
Right.
yes.
Welcome to the Camp Dennison portion of Symmes Township, or something to that effect.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't mind giving you top billing.
Thank you.
Okay. But no, that's where you are. You're driving down the road, you're in Camp Dennison,
Right.
but it is a part of Symmes Township. so-
Absolutely. It's not an inviting looking area right now whatsoever at all to introduce the area and the historical value that goes along with it.
I just want, I'm not anti, okay?
Okay.
I may seem like it because I ask all these questions. I'm not.
No, I don't,
But isn't there an issue with that isn't owned by Symmes Township? It's really
So-
not?
No, it's actually owned by Hamilton County Commissioners.
Yeah.
So we would have to get their
So
approval to
We
do
already
that's
it.
the
did.
point.
I've started that process.
We got that
Okay.
already.
You started the process or you got it?
I've started it. I had a
Okay.
conversation
That's
with
my point.
the county engineer.
And he said it's been brought up in the past, and he doesn't have a problem with it. So he's getting his paperwork together that
Okay,
they
good.
discussed.
Good.
I think it's like the
Yeah.
standard, I liken it to like a median in Montgomery,
Mhm.
ODOT, that's a state highway, Montgomery, so they don't want like huge bushy things that would block vision.
right.
So, they'll have some rules of the road, so to speak, so they're supposed to give us that information. We can dovetail that with the landscape plan.
There are trees on it now.
I think it's a great beginning, but I think it leaves a bit to be desired.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but I like your idea about abandoning the road. I hadn't actually thought about that before.
If
but
you- yeah,
That makes
another-
sense.
The first part of it actually could be a parking area. The negative part, it could be take those wooden posts or whatever, block off at where the stop sign area is after you've already made that turn, where you could make that kind of a diagonal parking area. But The idea is to, I mean, you could do it. But the idea is for people to come and enjoy it, not people just to park their bikes or their cars there and then go
Right.
bike riding. Right now, they're parking over in Indian Hills soccer fields, which
Right.
is perfect.
Right.
But it,
lots
but it
of
allows people who are riding down the bike trail, I went and sat up there, it allows people to stop. I was up there, so people were looking, but I was watching people go through that intersection and kind of, they miss it.
Okay.
Unlike, and I'll add this in, unlike our park bench that we already have in Camp Dennison, where we put flowers there, it seems to have drawn a lot of attention. We were up there working the other day, and I can't tell you how many bikers rode by and said, thank you, thank you, thank you, and they're kind of little pots, to say the least, but
And that's something also I talked to Bill about, and Bill's getting different pots, so we're gonna hopefully buy some pots for them, and we'll supply the flowers, and then they're gonna be responsible for watering and taking care of the plants. So
residents are already stepping up to be willing to do
Okay.
that.
That's fantastic.
she gave us a honey to-do list. So if we can do a little at a time, and hopefully, a little in the winter, a little in the spring, and we can get the flower pots, and I would like to do the landscaping, hopefully get the plan, and then we can work towards a goal when we can purchase it and get it down there, at least the first phase, and then we can work with ODOT
Mhm.
regarding closing the street, at least make that a nice area for them right now.
I think we need a coordinator to work with Barb, okay? No, I mean, she's on the one side requesting, we need to look at what the township's gonna do and timing and I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed so we can make it happen. And do you wanna do that, Jody, or?
I can do it, for sure.
Or do we wanna?
Yeah, I can do it with coordination with Bill.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
Okay.
is it okay if I go ahead and start working on some landscape plans? Do we have to bid that out, Kim, or what do we have to do?
Well, we'd have to hire an architect, a landscape architect to do the design for us. But the biggest thing is gonna be ODOT's regulations, because normally they don't let you put anything in over 18 inches. So,
So, there's
We
a
gotta
lot of,
There's trees there now.
we've done
There's
it,
the
we've fought this
cannon.
battle in meetings and so on already.
right, but if we sign an agreement with them, it's a whole different ballgame. It's kind of like what we did at the Fields Erdel Road when we put the sign in and everything. There's certain guidelines you have to meet, like it has to be 75 feet away and,
So would that come from Eric or would that come from ODOT?
It's,
I think we're
it
getting
would have to
permission.
come from ODOT,
Yeah.
but
If you're getting permission from Eric, why do we need permission?
Well,
I
sometimes
guess
the
we have
county
to coordinate with both of
administers.
them.
yeah, that's true, because
Yeah.
they own the property, but it's
Yeah.
ODOT's,
Right.
Yeah.
partly ODOT's right away.
But I'm curious if this road that we're talking about potentially closing, if that's actually a state road or if that's a county road.
That's a county
County
road.
road.
Kugler
Yeah,
Mill is a
I mean,
county
Kugler
road.
Mill, yeah.
I mean, that little
126
spur.
is state.
But it could be part of their limited right-of-way, their limited LA. You know how they have a certain percentage back is considered their limited access.
The wheels of government turn slowly, but
I've explained
they
that.
do turn, okay?
There's just
Now,
lots of
everything
spokes
isn't
you
gonna
have to
happen
walk over.
as fast as we want, because it takes a coordinated effort, is all I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
But this, like Jody said, phase 1, phase 2. Phase 2
Right.
is pretty ambitious I mean,
Right. But we
it's
can
really
work
not
on that.
ambitious, but it is kind of because of the coordination. But
Yeah.
phase 1 is like,
Doable.
yeah,
Okay.
low hanging fruit.
So do I need to make a motion to contract with someone, or what should I?
I can reach out to the
Okay.
lady
I'd
I'd have
that,
to get three.
I think what we
have to
do
get
is-
three
yeah.
prices.
Line out what the details are and go do them and bring it back for approval to hire an architect and so on and so forth.
With
And I'm
pricing. and all
assuming
that.
you want to have say in.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Mhm.
That's good.
Mhm.
Okay.
I guess the message we're trying to give you is we're receptive. I sense the board really wants to do something and do this, and we want to make it right. We just have to follow rules.
Sure,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I guess the first step, we're asking Kim to go ahead and seek 3 pricing
Mhm.
for, we'll have to give a description. What
And I-
we want
Do you
them
have
to
idea
price.
of what you want? Kind of an idea? Do you want to?
somewhat.
drive around and,
I mean, there's some pretty obvious things as you've been down there. There's a Morgan's Raider sign that literally is here.
On the road.
And there's the street. That's
Right.
how close it is to the
yeah,
street.
so
It
that,
was
that kind of stuff will need to be
ill-placed.
moved
So
and
some simple
arranged.
things can be done very quickly. As far as moving things, planting, I understand, is a whole different other thing.
Well, I think
You
the,
would want to wait and
the
plant and
the
move at
coord-
the same
the
time.
coordination
so, right.
between the
Important.
township, the county, and ODOT seems like that's the big issue to tackle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe if we have permission, maybe we could do some of it over the winter months if we're not so busy in the parks or whatever. We can do, like,
That's
move a
new
sign.
designs.
Yeah.
That's what we figured. And then landscape. And hopefully by next spring, you'll have what you want.
Yeah. I will just go ahead and bring this up now. I talked to the ODNR about that strip where we've already planted trees, and there's 2 more trees that are going to be coming down. They told me it was going to be by November, and there's a stump that needs to be removed, but that area after November should be hopefully cleared up enough that we could actually finish out that planting of trees along there. So what am I asking you? I'm
You're
just
asking us for more trees.
Stump grinding and
Yeah,
trees.
so I guess once those trees come down,
Mhm.
just let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, we contract out stump grinding anyway. so.
I don't think it's us that will do it, I think it's them.
There's like this really, as you know, I mean, there's a strip of land that's only about this big, and this part is the ODNR's, and this part is Symmes Township. So there's trees planted all along that strip to just a little bit beyond my home. And then there's now the rest of the way that could go, which could look very
Okay,
nice
you're on
from the
Clement.
bike trail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Corner Clement and Campbell.
Too bad at Christmas time you couldn't light them up, you know how pretty that would be. What? Yeah.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
You're
Good.
welcome.
Thank you, Barb.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I move a discussion concerning mowing contracts for 2022. I know we had this on our agenda a month ago, and we had some vendors that wanted to hold their pricing and so on, and they're really looking to line up their business for next year. And we kind of tabled it to talk a little bit more about it. I had an opportunity to sit with Bill and go over some things, but he's not here. Kim, can you talk about the issues that we had last time it was in our packet? I think the ones, if I remember correctly, the areas that Bill would be willing to take on for Symmes Township to mow and so on are those areas that are closely aligned with where our park maintenance equipment and things are, so it wouldn't be big transportation costs and so on. But upon further review with him, he says that we would be hard pressed to do it for what we're paying to have it done
Okay.
right now. Because this is a family business where everybody in the family rides the mowers and they bid these jobs, and they're a lot cheaper than what we could do it for.
Okay.
So my recommendation, I guess, is that we continue with putting out mowing contracts or bids for next year for all of the areas, and then look harder at what we can do the following year.
Yeah, I just review it every year to make sure
Yeah.
that we're,
Because there's going to come a time when somebody isn't going to hold the price,
Mhm.
and that if we're in front of it and we can understand what it costs for us to do it versus somebody else, and the bids go up, maybe it becomes cost effective for us to do it.
Makes
That's all I can
sense.
say.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, is that satisfactory, Kim? You think?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else on that subject?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Then I move to appoint Michael Trainer, reappoint Michael Trainer to the Finance Committee for a term from 7/19/2021 to 12/31/2025.
Second.
Roll call? Oh, Oh, any discussion?
I just want to say Michael Trina does a fabulous job on the Finance Committee, and we're lucky to have him. And thank you for stepping up for 5 more years.
Yes, same. Mike has a lot of very pointed comments and a lot of good observations, and we appreciate it.
Doesn't hurt to have a lawyer on that committee, too. Okay. Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye. I move to not request a hearing for liquor permit renewal for Speedway 12006 Montgomery Road and 12184 Mason Road, Symmes Township, Ohio 45242.
Second?
Okay, discussion? Have no issues there that I'm aware of. But he's doing 2 of them in one.
We got 2 separate notices, so I
Mhm.
just put them in one line item.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion?
No.
Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2021-82, a resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to sign an amended agreement with Hardlines Design Company for architectural/engineering services for the Mead House Restoration Project in the amount of $2,820.
Second.
Okay. Discussion?
I just want to say we had a really nice meeting the other day with our committee members, and they're on page with everything, and I think it's going to be, obviously we have to do things in phases because of the expense, but I think it's a very worthwhile, and it's going to be great for the township.
Okay. Just as additional information for the record, this additional money, since it's an increase, is to be used to test the mortar and blocks from the Mead House to try and find the best suitable match for the future during any renovations that may occur. Okay. Any other discussion?
Mhm.
Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2021-83, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Second.
Let me ask a question on this. Kim, we don't have any increases in tax levies in Symmes Township, right?
No.
Okay. So this is just really to certify what we're going to get based on the levies that are in existence?
Right,
Okay.
and this year again, the Budget Commission only recommended 97%.
Okay. Okay, what you're saying is because of defaults on tax base and everything else, we can't count on getting all of the money.
Right,
Because some people won't be able to pay it.
right.
Okay. And this is for our budget purpose? Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2021-84, a resolution authorizing Township Administrator to change health reimbursement account providers and to sign an agreement with Chard Snyder for HRA benefits for the elected officials and employees of Symmes Township.
Second?
Okay.
Did a whole process.
Discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going away from next year, we're going away from the broker that we had been using, and we had to find a new one. But I think it's the same cost.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2021-85, a resolution declaring the intent to conduct internet auctions for the sale of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit personal property at Symmes Township.
Second.
Discussion?
So this would be gov deals, so this would allow us to, normally we always do trade-ins, but there's some instances where we can't do trade-ins, so it's better if we have another option. Instead of doing gov deals, the only other option for us would be to conduct an actual auction to get rid of items. So this gives us another opportunity to place it online, allow people to view it. We set a price. Gov Deals charges us a certain percentage. I think it's, 8%? And then you can charge that 8% off to the seller of the piece
Buyer.
of whatever, or, I'm sorry, the buyer.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's like a bidding process online, and then the highest bidder gets it, and then you set it up with them and they come and pick up the product. But the reason we wanted to set this up is because we have the truck with the fire department that we're going to take the boxes off the truck and reuse it with the other truck that we're going to buy. So we're left with this truck that doesn't have a motor in it because the crankshaft is bad. So we
Okay.
thought maybe that somebody would be willing to buy a truck and, you know, maybe be willing to put up money to put a motor in or whatever.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2021-86, a resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter into an agreement with J.K. Muir in the amount of $93,130 to repair and repave the parking lot at Symmes Park.
Second.
Discussion?
And that's the whole parking lot, like the whole thing.
yes.
Wow, that's expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's expensive. We've been piecemealing it for a couple of years, like limping it along, but it really needs to be repaved.
Okay, and it's in the budget?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye. I move approval of the following expenditures, and I'm not going to read that because
Sorry,
there
there's
are
actually
there are
none.
none. Okay, then I move that we adjourn into executive session under Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G1 and consider the compensation and employment of a public employee or official.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.